Please rise for the academic procession. Honored guests, University Marshal Joy Bostick.
The 2025 Commencement Convocation ceremony of Case Western Reserve University is hereby convened. Please remain standing for the national anthem.
Stripes
Please be seated. It is my honor to introduce the president of Case Western Reserve University, Eric W. Kaler.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to congratulate the undergraduate, graduate, and professional student members of the Case Western Reserve University class of 2025. Congratulations. We welcome everyone, graduates, guests, members of our esteemed faculty and staff, distinguished award winners, university trustees, and honorary degree recipients here with us this afternoon. And to those of you who are watching us via live stream, we're so glad that you have joined us. I'm also pleased to welcome today's speaker, Susie Garab. Susie is a Case Western Reserve University alumna, a trustee emeriti, and an award-winning journalist. We look forward to hearing from her later in our ceremony. There are also several university trustees who are with us today. They are our board chair, Fred DeSanto, Roe Green, Steve Hoffman, Franklin Salata, Larry Sears, and Laura Quintella. And we're also joined by Emeritus Trustee Charlie Bolton. And now I'm pleased to introduce the chair of our Board of Trustees, Fred DeSanto. He is chairman and chief executive officer of Ancora, a leading wealth management asset firm. He has been a university trustee since 2012, and his truly extraordinary support of Case Western Reserve University is evident throughout our campus, in athletics, student scholarships, at our health education campus, and on the quad at the ISEB. Fred is a double alumnus. He received his undergraduate degree and his MBA at Case Western Reserve University. And during his undergraduate years, Fred was also an outstanding three-sport athlete, earning varsity letters all 4 years in football, basketball, and baseball. There is indeed a reason it's called DeSanto Field. Fred has served as chair of our Board of Trustees since June of 2020, and I should mention that this is his final convocation serving in that role. Fred, thank you for your tremendous service, your leadership, and your continued dedication to Case Western Reserve University. And I invite you to share a few words with us, but you might do something else first.
I might.
All right.
President Kaler, stay right here. Thank you for those kind words. As President Kaler mentioned, this is my last convocation. I think I've been through 5. And the first one, I took a selfie because I had to send it to my classmates because I said that no one thought I'd ever be up here as chair of the board talking to the graduates of this university. This year, I'm taking it as it's my last, and President Kaler and I always take a selfie. So do whatever you want in the background, but we're going to take a selfie, President Kaler and I. As I said, President Kaler, thank you for those kind words. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to congratulate our graduates this afternoon. I also want to acknowledge and welcome our faculty, staff, distinguished guests, and everyone joining us on this live stream. With our bicentennial approaching, it's fascinating to reflect on the many ways Case Western Reserve University has evolved since its origins in 1826. But what's remained central to this university and what still guides us today is an enduring commitment to students across all aspects of learning, research, and campus life. My hope for each of you is that your experience at Case Western Reserve University has prepared you to move forward with confidence, compassion, and curiosity about the world and its people. After all, those are the qualities that will lead you to make bold discoveries, to improve lives, and to become agents for change in the world. We hope that you stay connected with the university in the years to come. Remember, you are always, always welcome here. We wish you the best in the path ahead of you, and congratulations to our class of 2025. Thank you.
Honored guests, please welcome Provost and Executive Vice President Joy K. Ward.
Good afternoon. This is always my favorite time of the year. Each year at Convocation, we honor the recipient of the Frank and Dorothy Hummel Hovorka Prize. The award was established in 1994 by the late Mrs. Hovorka, a distinguished leader in the arts and community who served for 19 years as a member of the university's Board of Trustees. It honors her husband, the late Frank Hovorka, a respected and longtime faculty member in the Department of Chemistry. This honor is awarded to an active or emeritus member of the university faculty whose exceptional achievements in teaching, research, and scholarly service have benefited the community, the nation, and the world. Today, I am pleased to recognize the 2025 recipient of the Frank and Dorothy Hummel Hovorka Prize, to Dr. M.C. Terry Hockenstead, Jr. Professor Hockenstead has dedicated a lifetime to the field of social work. While he retired in 2017 after more than 40 years of service to Case Western Reserve, he remains active in teaching, publishing, and international collaboration. He has held leadership roles across the university, including nearly a decade as Dean of the Mandel School, and is globally recognized for his impact on international social work education and research. Dr. Hockenstead has lectured in 23 countries, served on the United Nations Committee on Aging, and led groundbreaking initiatives that have shaped the profession worldwide. He has forged lasting partnerships with universities and agencies across the globe, held Fulbright appointments in Sweden and Norway, and represented the United States at the UN World Assembly on Aging. A prolific author of 9 books and numerous articles, he continues to publish and teach, inspiring the next generation of leaders. A beloved teacher and tireless advocate, Dr. Hockenstead's work also extends locally, where he helped lead Cleveland's Age-Friendly City Initiative. His visionary leadership and unwavering commitment continue to elevate Case Western Reserve and the field of social work globally. President Kaler, on behalf of the Hovorka Prize Committee, I present Professor Terry Hockenstead.
The President's Award for Visionary Achievement recognizes individuals who have distinguished themselves through significant and exceptional support to Case Western Reserve University. Recipients of this award demonstrate a history of prominent philanthropic engagement and service that benefits our campus as well as the broader community. This year, we are honored to bestow this award upon Roe Green. Roe is an arts patron, activist, world traveler, and CEO of the Roe Green Foundation. She's also served as a university trustee since 2019. Roe is someone who possesses a passion for doing good and persistent energy, and that makes an inspiring combination. She often sums up her philosophy of giving with a handful of oranges, but I'll let her tell you more about that in a minute. Roe's transformative gifts to our university include a $10 million gift in 2018 to support construction of Phase 2 of the Maltz Performing Arts Center, which is now home to the Roe Green Theater. Since 1999, her family has supported the Judge B.C. Green Professorship, named for her father at the School of Law. The Roe Green Foundation also generously funded the renovation of the law school's library in 2006, as well as the 2020 renovation of its student lounge, now known as Ben's Place. And in 2024, the Roe Green Foundation jointly awarded $2 million to the university and to university hospitals to establish the Case Western Reserve University and University Hospitals Roe Green Medical Education and Research building in Kampala, Uganda. Ro, thank you for your enduring support and your service as a trustee. Our university would not be the same without you. We appreciate all that you have done for us so very much. You've created so many opportunities for our campus community, and we are grateful.
Good afternoon. I have to tell you, I'm very impressed by the t-shirts. It's such an honor and privilege to share this special occasion with you today as we begin the celebration of your graduation from Case Western Reserve University. Thank you, President Kaler, for honoring me with this award. My father, Judge Ben C. Green, was a proud graduate of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law. Growing up, education was such an important part of my family's life. Not long after his passing in 1983, my relationship with Case University began, and I am proud to have worked on a number of projects over the years and grateful for the community and relationships I've built with this extraordinary institution. To our graduates today, I would like to offer these words. As you take your next step on your journey, you may feel you are starting at the bottom, and that's okay. That's where you start. You may want to someday be at the top, but you have to start at the bottom. Take chances, take risks. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. You're young, make them now and then learn from them. You have to learn, you have to take each step, and you have to work hard. And as you take each step, if you have the opportunity, I encourage you to give back. I have found that what I give, I get back tenfold. So I have a philosophy that guides me through my life. I have 5 oranges. I eat one, I save one, and I give the other 3 away. Keep in mind, giving back can take many forms. In one of my earliest philanthropic endeavors with the women's advocacy group, Women's Safe, I was asked to purchase a coupon book to support their organization. I didn't buy the book, but I offered to volunteer instead. I did go on to give a gift later when we opened a home for the families affected by domestic violence. But the point is that giving of your time as a volunteer can be just as valuable as giving financially. I think you will also find the coming years that time passes very quickly, perhaps more so now than ever. It's hard to believe, but my relationship with the university spans over 40 years now. But time flies when you're having a good time. So I wish you a success, a good life, and of course, good times. But don't forget to take a moment to take a look around you and see who you can help out along the way. Thank you again for this award, your time today, and congratulations.
Now, it's my privilege to introduce our newest distinguished university professors. These 2 faculty members are internationally renowned in their fields and deeply engaged in university life. They advance their fields through discovery, scholarly work, and service to national and international organizations in their areas of expertise. They also advance our university through their teaching, mentoring, collaboration, research, and service. You should know the title of Distinguished University Professor is the single highest honor the university can bestow on a member of our faculty. So, Distinguished University Professors, when I call your name, please step forward. And as I share about you and your accomplishment, Provost Joy Ward will place the medal around your neck. First is Roger French, the Kyocera Professor of Ceramics in the Department of Material Science and Engineering, the Case School of Engineering. Professor French's career spans industry and academia, with a focus on advancing artificial intelligence, data science, and predictive modeling to improve materials performance, reliability, and sustainability. He is the founding director of the Solar Durability and Lifetime Extension Research Center, which is a hub for predictive lifetime science that has attracted more than $42 million in research funding. He also leads two important national initiatives: the Materials Data Science for Stockpile Stewardship Center of Excellence, which is supported by the Department of Energy, and the NSF Engineering Research Center for Advancing Sustainability in Distributed Fertilizer Production to enable resilient and sustainable food production. Professor French also developed our undergraduate minor in Applied Data Science as well as our graduate certificate program. In addition, he has taught and mentored many students here at our partner institutions and at several local high schools. Finally, he is a co-founder of Edifice Analytics, a startup built around his patented virtual energy audit technology. So, Professor French, for your many contributions to material science and research, as an educator and mentor, for your commitment to innovation, and for your dedication to Case Western Reserve University, it is my great honor to confer upon you the title of Distinguished University Professor. Congratulations. Our next honoree is Jonathan Haynes, the Mary W. Shelton, MD, Professor of Genomic Sciences and Chair of the Department of Population and Quantitative Health Sciences at the School of Medicine. Professor Haynes also serves as founding director of the Cleveland Institute for Computational Biology, which is a hub for biomedical innovation that integrates genetics, epidemiology, and clinical research to solve public health challenges. Professor Haynes is also a pioneering genetic epidemiologist and leader in human genomics. His work has advanced dramatically our understanding of complex diseases. He's best known, however, for his groundbreaking research in Alzheimer's disease, including the discovery of a gene variant that increases risk for late-onset Alzheimer's, as well as another variant that fortunately offers protection. His research has also led to key insights into age-related macular degeneration, multiple sclerosis, and other complex traits. Professor Haynes co-led one of the largest genome-wide association studies in Alzheimer's disease, involving more than 94,000 individuals. In addition, he has mentored more than 60 students and postdoctoral fellows, many of whom now hold senior positions in academia, healthcare, and industry. So, Professor Haynes, for your many contributions to our understanding of complex human diseases, science, and scholarships, and for your dedication to Case Western Reserve University, it is my great honor to confer upon you the title of Distinguished University Professor. Congratulations.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Honorary Degree Committee of the Case Western Reserve University faculty, it is my distinct honor to present candidates for degrees honoris causa. The first candidate is Trevor Jones, recipient of the degree of Doctor of Engineering honoris causa. Trevor Jones has had a remarkable career since emigrating to the U.S. in 1957. He is a relentless innovator and visionary leader who has made significant contributions across multiple industries, including the aerospace, automotive, and biomedical technology sectors. At General Motors, he led major changes in automotive safety through pioneering electronic control systems, which enhanced vehicle performance and security. These achievements earned him national recognition and election to the National Academy of Engineering at the age of 52. Trevor went on to serve as a high-impact executive at leading firms across multiple industries. He led advancements that set new global standards in automotive safety and performance, and he oversaw innovations that influenced international markets while enhancing consumer safety and convenience. In 1998, he founded Biomech Incorporated, a pioneering developer of advanced medical devices. In addition to his many professional accomplishments, Civic engagements remains a top priority for Trevor. He has actively supported and led initiatives to promote STEM education, foster future generations of innovators, and enhance public awareness about science and engineering. Trevor has received many prestigious awards, including the Ellis Island Gold Medal of Honor, and he was elected as a Fellow of the National Academies of Inventors. Congratulations.
Trevor Jones, for your exceptional and transformative work as an engineer, visionary leader, and entrepreneur, and on the recommendation of the university faculty and the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Engineering honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, to bestow with difficulty the hood of this university and to grant you this diploma.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Honorary Degree Committee of the Case Western Reserve University faculty, I present Patrick Pietroni as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Dr. Patrick Pietroni is an internationally recognized physician, educator, and thought leader whose visionary work has advanced the global study and practice of compassionate care. A former medical advisor to King Charles III, then Prince Charles, Dr. Pietroni plays a key role in shaping healthcare policy in the United Kingdom and abroad. His distinguished career in academic medicine spans decades and continents, including groundbreaking work in holistic medicine and community health. He is the founding director of the Darwin International Institute for the Study of Compassion, where he has brought together scholars and institutions from around the world, including those from Case Western Reserve and other prestigious universities, to pursue compassion as a rigorous and transformative framework for education, health, and social policy. At Case Western Reserve, Dr. Pietroni's leadership has directly influenced new curricular offerings and ongoing collaborative initiatives as they continue to shape our academic landscape. Dr. Pietroni has dedicated his life to advancing human dignity, health equity, and compassion, values that shine through in his work as a scholar, teacher, and global partner. Congratulations.
Patrick Pietroni, for your many accomplishments as a physician, educator, and thought leader, and for your dedication to service to the community and to the field of medicine. And on recommendation of the university faculty and the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, to bestow upon you the hood of this university and to grant you this diploma. We're just delighted today to have our alumna and trustee emeriti, Susie Garib, here today. She's a senior special correspondent for Fortune, where she's interviewed some of the world's most influential CEOs and financial leaders. At Fortune, she provides insights into market trends, corporate strategy, and economic policy. Previously, Susie co-anchored the nightly business report on PBS for more than 16 years, and she's also been a reporter for CNBC, NBC, and ABC. She's covered many of the key figures and global events of the last 40 years. Susie is a native Clevelander and a graduate of Heights High. There are some Heights High graduates in the room, I hope. She began her professional career right here in her hometown as a reporter for the Plain Dealer. And when she was a student on our campus, she wrote for the Observer. As I mentioned earlier, Susie is a member of our Emeriti trustees. She served as a university trustee for 18 years. We appreciate Susie's continued service and her commitment to her alma mater, and we are so pleased to welcome her back to campus today as our convocation speaker. Please join me in welcoming Susie Garrett.
President Kaler, thank you so much for your very kind words and that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Case Western Reserve University trustees, honorary degree recipients, respected deans and faculty, and most of all, congratulations to the class of 2025. I am proud, honored, and so delighted to be with all of you today. Let me begin by applauding what you've achieved. You've worked hard to get here. I enjoyed seeing the posters on our processional inn where it says, "You did it, congratulations, big achievement," because it's true. First, you had to get accepted to CWRU. Congratulations for that. And then to fulfill all the requirements for graduation. And a special shout out to those of you, the ones in the blue t-shirts, for earning your master's degrees, JDs, MDs, and your PhDs. What a remarkable accomplishment. You know, as I stand here today, I just can't help to think back to my own graduation day, sitting where you are now. And there are striking similarities between the world you are entering and the one that my class was facing as well. These are extraordinarily turbulent times. Wars abroad, a deeply divided America, economic uncertainty, climate change threatening the future of our planet, and add to that the profound ways that AI will certainly change the world. That's a lot. And I'm sure as you're sitting here, you're wondering, how do I build a life in the middle of all that? Well, my own CWRU years, 1969 to 1972, it was another century, it was a long time ago, were just as frightening. The Vietnam War cast a long shadow over campus life. Protests were frequent, passionate, and sometimes tense. I'll never forget the shock and sorrow we all felt after the Kent State shootings. You know, that was just 40 miles away from University Circle. It was a turning point that shook the whole country, and it fueled my generation's commitment to speak out. Now, at the same time, the feminist movement was gaining momentum. When Gloria Steinem came to campus, I had the chance to cover her speech and activities because, as President Kaler said, I was a reporter for The Observer. Glad to hear that there's some of you there. Her message was that women had the right to be heard, to lead, and dream big. And that lit a spark for so many of us, myself included. Reporting on those events gave me a sense of purpose. I realized that journalism could be a way to bear witness, to inform, and maybe to affect change. That spark evolved into a 50-year career in business journalism, telling the stories of how our economy works, profiling influential people who shape it, and what it all means for our everyday lives. But I have to stop here for a moment. I have to be honest with you. When I was 21 on my graduation day, I had no idea what my future would hold. Yes, I did get a job. I accepted a reporter position at the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and it was a dream come true. But I never imagined that I would specialize in business news. I mean, business news, it seemed so unexciting back then. I never saw myself as a TV news anchor. TV reporters to me, just with their big cameras and all their microphones, just seemed to get in the way at news conferences, and they always held up the timetable. Boy, was I wrong about that. But you have to remember, this was way before CNN and cable television were created. This was way before the whole concept of 24-hour news cover ever existed. Television turned out to be the most powerful way to reach audiences. So, with my camera crews, I found myself reporting everywhere, from Wall Street to Silicon Valley to the White House, trying to make sense out of how big decisions and big ideas affect real people's lives. Along the way, I had the incredible opportunity to interview some of the most remarkable business leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs of our time, and I learned so many lessons from their experiences. Going back to picturing my future when I was sitting where you are, I also never pictured in my wildest dreams that I'd be returning to campus here, standing at this podium, and speaking to all of you as your commencement speaker. But life has a funny way of surprising you. So when President Kaler called me and invited me, I didn't hesitate. The journalist in me knew that this was an opportunity I just couldn't pass up. So whenever I start a new assignment, I always do my homework. And as I researched commencement speeches, I learned that one of the unwritten rules is that you have to offer some advice. As President Kaler told me, not too preachy, but you have to offer some advice. Lucky for me, I love doing that. So get comfortable, sit back, here it comes. As I've said, throughout my career, I've had the privilege of interviewing thousands of CEOs, influential business leaders, people who have built companies, transformed industries, navigated countless challenges. But they didn't start that way. They started out where you are right now. So I always ask them in my interviews, what do you know now that you just wish someone had told you when you were just starting out? I think their answers apply to all of us, no matter what field we're in or what pathway we're pursuing, whether it's law or medicine or teaching, launching a nonprofit, or writing a novel. Today, I want to share with you what they've been telling me. So here we go. First up, embrace lifelong learning. Read, read, read. I hate to break it to you, but your education doesn't end today. So don't toss out your books into storage just yet. Make it your mission to be an educated person. Stay curious, stay open. The most successful leaders I've met emphasize that learning never stops. And the best organizations look for people who are eager to keep growing. So the first quote I want to share with you comes from Brian Moynihan. He's the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Bank of America. Here's what he told me. Always be curious. Never quit learning. You have to be curious about what's next. Curious to challenge yourself. Curious to challenge the basic business model. Curious to challenge what new technologies will bring. Julie Sweet has a similar take. She's the CEO of the global consulting firm Accenture. I'm sure you've heard about it. Now, during the pandemic, and this is really interesting, her company hired more than 200,000 people. The company already had half a million, 500, and now they're adding 200,000 people. I was so curious. So I asked her, when you were doing those interviews, what were you looking for? And she said, when we hire, it's not about pedigree. We look for people who we call have learning agility. We ask, what have you learned recently? And she said, it doesn't matter if it's how to make paella. The question is, are you a learner? Because that's a strong indicator who will be a strong leader. But she goes on. She also says about learning, be the person who invites the new voice to the table. who listens to different points of view. Remember that empathy and inclusivity are important for success, but also essential to lifelong fulfillment. Second, dream big. Now look, you spent years cultivating knowledge here and developing resilience, your capacity to keep learning and to bounce back from setbacks. Armed with those strengths, you're ready now to aim higher, think bolder, and chart your own unique course of life. So the story I want to share with you is Michael Dell. All of you know him, the founder and CEO of Dell Technologies. He's the one who, if you didn't hear this story before, he famously started his $80 billion computer business from his dorm room. He went to University of Texas at Austin, but he didn't graduate. He had this advice. As you start your journey, the first thing you should do is throw away that store-bought map and begin to draw your own. And as he talked about his start, he told me, I wasn't doing it to prove anything. I was doing it because it's fun, it's interesting. So his story reminds us, think big, have faith in your idea, even if you don't feel you're ready. And he went on to tell me that you don't have to be a genius or a visionary or, excuse me, President Kaler, even a college graduate, to be successful. You just need a framework and a dream. Then there's the Steve Schwartzman story. Here's a guy who grew up in a modest family outside of Philadelphia. His father had a small linen shop, and on weekends, Steve would go there and help fold the linens, but he knew this isn't what he wanted to do in his life. By the time I met up with him many, many years later to interview him, he had already built a very successful career as a Wall Street banker. By most standards, he had made it. But then later in life, he took a leap and he co-founded what he called a boutique investment firm. But it wasn't easy. He told me it was really, really tough in the beginning. Even though he was well known, he faced rejection. He struggled to raise money, but he didn't give up. Today, of course, you all know Blackstone is one of the largest and most powerful firms in the world. But it didn't start out that way. And that's what makes Steve's advice so powerful. He said to me, you can only do one thing at a time, and it might as well be consequential. It's as easy to do something big as it is to do something small. So his advice? Reach for a fantasy worthy of your pursuit with rewards commensurate to your effort. In other words, if you're going to pour your time, your energy, and talent into something, make it count. Don't let fear or convention keep you from swinging for the fences. Dream big, start now. Third, be resilient. Dreaming is only part of the equation. The other part, getting back up when things don't go your way. If there's one lesson I've learned after decades of interviews, is that the most accomplished people I've met are not just defined by their wins. They're shaped by how they respond to setbacks. You try, you fail, you try again, but you don't give up. Everyone tells me this. Now, resilience isn't about being fearless. It's about facing the tough moments and finding the strength to push forward anyway. And actually, that's what Mary Barr told me. She's the chief executive of General Motors. Now, only weeks after she made history as the first woman to lead this legendary automaker, she was hit with a huge crisis, a massive recall of millions of GM vehicles due to faulty ignition switches. And the really bad news was that some of them were linked to fatal accidents. And every night there was news about the GM crisis and this new CEO. But it would have been easy for her to walk away, but she didn't. She faced Congress, she faced the public, she faced her own company, her own employees, and she made real changes. So when I asked her, how do you deal with setbacks and how did you navigate that crisis? She said, the number one thing is do the right thing. Be transparent and communicate that you're doing everything in your power to make sure it never happens again. And her bold leadership didn't go unnoticed. I'm happy to tell you that just about this time last year, in 2024, my company, Fortune magazine, ranked Mary Barra #1 on its list of the 100 most powerful women in business. So setbacks are inevitable. What matters most is what you do next. The courage to keep going, that's what separates forward progress from stagnation. Number 4, progress isn't always a straight line. Careers are rarely neat. Life almost never unfolds according to plan. I'm sure a lot of you look at successful people and you say they had it made, but it's not like that. But sometimes, actually, it's the detours that reveal your true path. And I want to share one more story from a business leader with you, Charles Lowry. He's the CEO of Prudential. You know, that's the huge company that always advertises The Rock. Well, he dreamed of being an architect. He told me so much about why he loved architecture. I mean, he went on and on about why he loved architecture. He studied architecture and got his degree as an undergraduate. He went on to get a master's in architecture. And he even started planning his own architecture firm. But then he said, you know, I need some business experience. So he went and got an MBA. Guess what? He never went back to architecture. Instead, he took what I'd like to say the scenic route, which took him into real estate finance, then into investment banking, and eventually to Prudential, where his talent for leadership earned him the role of CEO. And so when I spoke to him, he said to me, serendipity has nothing to do with careers. And I want to repeat that. Serendipity has nothing to do with careers. He said, my career is anything but linear. And he just laughed as he told me more of the story. And he said, never would I have thought in my younger days that I'd be in business. And as far as becoming CEO of a Fortune 500 company, never in my wildest dreams, he told me. Well, Jack Welch, maybe you know him. He had a more blunt take on all of this. He was the legendary CEO of General Electric. And so what did he tell me? Do your own thing. Do what you like. If you're doing something you don't like, get the hell out of it. Go live. Reach for the moon all the time. Have fun doing it. And don't be afraid. So the message here, don't be discouraged if your road isn't straight. Sometimes the long and winding road with all the curves that you didn't expect turns out to be the whole point. So trust your instincts. Now, if careers don't always follow a straight line, neither does life. And I just want to wrap up by talking about balance. One of the most complex turns many of us face is figuring out how to grow a meaningful career and a meaningful a personal life at the same time. To me, this is the next big challenge. You can have the most successful career in the world, but if you haven't made time for what's meaningful to you, your health, your family, your friends, and your personal passions, you won't find that sense of joy and fulfillment that you're seeking. You need to find time for that. And look, I don't need to really tell you this. You've witnessed for this firsthand during the pandemic. You saw your parents, your teachers, and your friends burning out, feeling isolated, utterly lost. You guys know that balance isn't just important, it's crucial. And I want to tell you, this isn't a personal puzzle. It's a challenge that everyone is facing, and leaders at the highest levels are all thinking about this, talking about how to make their organizations thrive by fostering wellness and the balance that we're talking about here. One of them is Indra Nooyi. You may know her. She's the former CEO of PepsiCo, and she talks very passionately about her all-consuming career and how she struggled while still supporting and nurturing her husband and her young daughters. She calls it the work and family conundrum. And she doesn't see it as just a personal dilemma. She believes that this is a business problem, an economic issue, and one of the greatest challenges of our time. She told me that when we all talk about work-life balance, that's actually a myth. What it really is a constant juggling act. And too often, that juggling comes at a cost, especially for working parents. But here's the powerful part. She believes this is a challenge that your generation can solve. She says the work-family conflict can no longer be managed quietly on the sidelines. It deserves what she calls a moonshot effort. Just like sending a man or a woman to the moon, it requires bold thinking, national attention, and real innovation. We need big solutions, she says. Solutions that reimagine how we support working families, how we design jobs, and how we structure childcare. Not just so individuals can thrive, but so our society and our economy can thrive too. Now, I want to get a little personal here because I know this challenge firsthand. When I started out my career decades ago, I quickly learned how hard it is to give my all at work and still be the kind of partner and parent I wanted to be at home. As you know, the news business is 24/7. Breaking news happens around the clock. Sometimes it means you can't make it to the Thanksgiving dinner. You might have to skip that summer vacation. There are so many stories that I can tell you. But here's one. I remember rushing out of my early morning TV show with my heart in my throat because I didn't want to miss my daughter's school play that started promptly at 8:30 in the morning. I made it, thankfully. I remember midnight hours, finishing a project, tiptoeing into my kids' rooms to give them a goodnight kiss, and wondering, was I doing either job as a professional or parent well enough? What saved me through all those years was not some genius time management trick or superhero stamina. It was people. And most of all, it was the supportive partnership I have with my husband, Feridun Nazem, and he's actually here. He's sitting right in the front row. We made a pact early on that we were a team. And when one of us had to lean in at work, the other one would lean in at home. And I'm happy to tell you, he kept that promise every day. Now, we didn't always get it right. There were times when the wheels almost fell off, when I missed my son's big tennis tournament. My husband had to postpone an important work trip because one of the kids came down with the flu. But we kept talking, we kept adjusting, and never lost sight of the fact that we were in this together. And then something amazing happened along the way. Our children learned from that teamwork. They saw that leadership at work and love at home weren't mutually exclusive, and that made all the difference in how they grew up. Fast forward to today. My son, Dr. Alexei Nazem, is a physician entrepreneur. He's also here in the front row, sitting next to his father. My daughter, Dr. Tarana Nazem, is a successful reproductive endocrinologist. Sadly, she couldn't be here. She's at the kindergarten play of her son, and she couldn't miss it, and as far as I'm concerned, that was the right thing to do. But watching my kids, I feel a wave of pride and hope because they're figuring it out. They're creating their own version of balance, just as we did, but they're pushing it even further. In their generation, and I'm happy to say in your generation, it's more normal to talk about sharing duties at home, pursuing personal goals and dreams, and striving for mental and physical health. It certainly wasn't that way when I was starting. You never talked about your home life. So what does all this mean for you, the graduates about to launch into your new lives? It means that the Big Moonshot Challenge is now your mission to carry forward. You have a chance to build workplaces and communities where success doesn't have to come at the expense of well-being. And closer to home, it means that when you face those personal crossroads, you'll remember that you don't have to go it alone. You'll lean on the people who care about you. And you'll lean on the lessons that you've learned here at CWRU about teamwork and empathy. In fact, look around you. I mean it. Look to the left, look to the right. Look at the people sitting in front of you. Look at the people sitting behind you. The friends sitting beside you, your classmates today, will become your allies for life. I mean this. Keep them close as all of you head off in different directions. 10 or 20 years from now, those late night study sessions and group projects with your classmates could turn into a lifeline of support. Maybe it'll be a college roommate who picks up the phone when you really need advice. Maybe it's a classmate who will become the colleague who has your back on a big project. Or maybe one of these friends will simply remind you who you are when life gets overwhelming. Your relationships are one of your greatest assets. Nurture them. And as you step out of this auditorium and into the wider world, do it with confidence. Have confidence in the education you've worked so hard for here. Have confidence in the values that this community has instilled in you: integrity, curiosity, and compassion. And most importantly, have confidence in yourself. You've overcome challenges to get to this day. You've proven that you can adapt, persevere, and succeed. Whatever comes next, whether it's a dream job offer, I hope you do get that, or a winding, bumpy road while you figure things out, face it knowing that you have what it takes to shape your own future, because you absolutely do. Class of 2025, some of you will become entrepreneurs and create jobs you've never heard of yet. Some of you will dedicate yourselves to healing the sick or teaching the next generation. Some of you will pour your passion into art or science and change the way we see the world. All of you will contribute to writing the story of tomorrow. So as you do, write that story with courage and with heart, and write it together with those around you. And finally, yes, this is really finally, I'm wrapping up. As you head out from here, carry with you a sense of adventure, and keep your arms open to new experiences that will test and transform you. If you do that, you won't just navigate the future, you'll help to shape it into something bright and bold. I'm so proud of all of you, and so hopeful because of all of you. Congratulations, class of 2025, and welcome to your next adventure.
Thank you, Susie. We appreciate you sharing those personal stories and words of wisdom that you have gleaned from your interviews. You certainly have given our graduates and some of us on this podium terrific things to think about. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for your commitment to our great university. It's now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Amon Spencer, the president of the Undergraduate Student Government.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amon Spencer, and this past year, I've had the incredible honor of serving as your undergraduate student government president. I'd like to just start by saying from the bottom of my heart, congratulations, we made it. As we reach graduation season, I think it's important to pause and let this accomplishment really settle in. Each of us has put in an incredible amount of work, even if the world doesn't always witness the sacrifices made behind the scenes. The late nights, the early mornings, every exam, every project, and every moment when we stumbled or doubted ourselves, but found a way to keep it pushing. We showed up again and again, and that's what got us here. The journey hasn't been easy, but that's exactly what makes it so meaningful. Because the truth is, our degrees are not just pieces of paper. They're symbols of our perseverance. Our time here has been full of challenges, growth, and lessons that I'm sure we never expected. We've built friendships, found mentors, discovered new passions, and become people that I'm sure we wouldn't even recognize when we first stepped onto this campus. But with this chapter is coming to a close, and a new one is about to begin. What makes graduation so special is although it is an ending, it's also the beginning of the next phase of our lives. We're stepping into a future that's full of choices, some exciting and some uncertain. And that's okay. The path ahead does not have to be perfectly clear yet, because it's not about what matters most isn't where we go, it's why we go. As we head into this next chapter, the real question is not just what's next after graduation. It's what impact are you hoping to make, and who will your work serve when we leave here? You see, we didn't just come here to earn degrees. We came here to become problem solvers, change makers, healers, innovators, and leaders. We came to understand ourselves and the world just a little bit better, so that once we leave and we walk across that stage, we'll be able to go out and improve it. Whether you're designing new technologies, advocating for justice, healing patients, starting a business, teaching the next generation, or creating art, what matters most with our degrees is what we do with them. This opportunity to pursue our education has been a privilege I truly believe to be paid back through service. And as we leave here, let's remember that success is never measured in titles, accolades, or even paychecks, but measured in kindness, measured in impact, measured in how many people we serve, how many doors we open, and how many lives we're able to touch once we leave here. It's about how often we choose to use our education, not just to get ahead, but to give back. Let's carry forward the idea that our achievements are not the finish line, they're the fuel. They're a chance to build something bigger than ourselves. And every one of us has a role to play in shaping a more compassionate, just, and hopeful future. So with that being said, to the class of 2025, I hope that you can go forward with pride in what you've accomplished, hope in what lies ahead, and a deep sense of purpose in how you use your knowledge, talent, and your hearts to make this world a little bit of a better place. With that being said, thank you all for listening, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Amon, for those thoughtful words. I'm now pleased to welcome Thomas Lipker, President of the Graduate Student Council. Thomas.
Hello, future graduates. First off, I'd like to give a heartfelt congratulations to all of you. Our relentless hard work, the countless sleepless nights, and probably the endless cans of Celsius and coffee have led us here today on the precipice of graduating. And as we take this moment to celebrate each of our remarkable accomplishment, I think it's fitting to pause and consider the world around us and discuss a critical skill we'll need as we navigate our future pursuits and endeavors in this ever-evolving landscape. And that skill that my father instilled in me at a young age is being prepared. Now, I'm not suggesting you memorize every single fact that you learned during your time here, but certainly, extra credit opportunity, I'm always available. No, what I mean is by continuing to be prepared involves equipping ourselves mentally, emotionally, and practically for the unexpected twists and turns that life will undoubtedly throw our way. As we've all experienced, at some point, life will throw something at us that surprises us. Some of those surprises might feel like the worst pop quiz, unexpected, completely unfair, and something we never covered in class. Yet, it's our response to these surprises that truly define us. Being prepared means acknowledging that while we can't foresee everything, we have the capacity to cultivate the resilience needed to face anything that arises. Now, whether you're pursuing another degree, stepping into the workforce, or taking a break to reflect, we find ourselves in a uniquely complex time in history. If you've been turning to the news or talking with close friends, you'll understand that the world is growing increasingly unpredictable and harder to navigate, which can feel naturally daunting. During our time here, during our studies, we've had syllabi acting as our roadmap to give us assurance of what was to come next. And at the very least, we have our TAs and professors to give us that assurance. But soon, outside these familiar halls, things will be different. And while we tend to view different as in a negative light, there are opportunities that different offers. While yes, difference will bring us challenges we never wanted to face in the first place, it helps us realize how critical having a support system is. If we learned one thing during our time in school, is that collaboration is key to moving forward. Whether it's muddling through a group project late at night in KSL or the local library, or turning to a close friend during a difficult time. Preparation means recognizing that we don't have to face it all alone. Surrounding ourselves with supportive people, forging those connections, and nurturing the friendships is just as critical as any academic or technical skill that we've learned here. And so you might be thinking, Thomas, isn't that old age quote that says, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face? And I say fair. Certainly had plenty of plans down to the minute detail that fell through because of forces that were outside my control. But being prepared transcends simply knowing the answers. It's about having the courage to ask the right questions, the ability to adapt when plans fall through, and the determination to keep pressing forward, even when the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. In traveling down the various winding paths that each of us will face, we will certainly find a community that supports us, celebrates each of our accomplishments, and pushes us to strive for success. We've already demonstrated that discipline and determination to overcome challenges over these past few years with our coursework, the personal hurdles we overcame, and potentially the moments of self-doubt. And whether, again, we're stepping into the careers that we always wanted, advancing into higher education or blazing new trails, let's do so with the assurance that we've been prepared this entire time. And as we embark on these new journeys, let's continue to cherish the friendships forged on this campus and look forward to the many more waiting for us. But that said, let's just celebrate. Graduating is a significant milestone that should be accompanied by good food, great company, and lasting memories. And after we finish celebrating and cast our eyes again towards the future ahead, let's remind ourselves that preparation is a continuous journey, and the true key to success lies not in knowing everything, but being prepared for anything. Congratulations, class 2025, and best of luck on our next adventure.
Thank you, Thomas, for those good words. And now welcome Chris Partis, President of the Alumni Association of Case Western Reserve University, to share some remarks. Chris.
Thank you, President Kaler. On behalf of the Alumni Association, it is my distinct honor to extend an enthusiastic congratulations to all our graduates and to welcome you, our newest members, as you join a proud and distinguished network of more than 125,000 alumni across the country and around the world. As you take the next step of your journey, you will undoubtedly continue to build on the legacy of Case Western Reserve University alumni, one of excellence, innovation, service, and leadership. Our Alumni Association is full of people like you, people who are exceptional, hardworking, committed, and aware. We encourage you to stay connected to each other, to the university, and to its faculty, staff, and students. Visit our website for updates, join our new career mentoring platform, follow the Alumni Association on social media. We want you to be as actively engaged as alumni as you were during your time as students. Importantly, our alumni give back. We honor those who paved the way for our successes and pay it forward to the next generation. Remember that you have a home away from home, the Linsalata Alumni Center. I hope to see you in October at homecoming and whenever your travels lead you back to Cleveland. Again, my heartfelt congratulations. We wish you all the very best, and shine on.
Thank you, Chris. Before we close, I want to recognize briefly a few members of the platform party. When I call your name, I ask that you stand. First is Raghu Balakrishnan, the Dean of the Case School of Engineering. Dean Balakrishnan has led the engineering school for the last 7 years. He will step down at the end of next month and return to the faculty. Raghu, the Case School of Engineering, is a school that is rich in research and academic programs because of your leadership. Thank you for your significant contributions to its success. Next is Ken Chance, Dean of the School of Dental Medicine. Dean Chance also is an alumnus of the school. He will step down from his role at the end of the calendar year after 11 years as Dean. And Ken, your commitment to advancing the school's facilities, curriculum, and community engagement leaves a very meaningful legacy. Thanks for all that you have done for us. Finally, Carol Musil, Dean of the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing, will step down at the end of June after 6 years as Dean and return to the faculty. Dean Musil is a double alumna who joined the faculty in 1994. Under her leadership, the school has grown in size, in key programming areas, and in rankings. Carol, thank you so much for your ongoing engagement and the commitment to Case Western Reserve University. And now to our graduates. The diploma each of you will receive in the coming days reflects your hard work and commitment to your chosen field, or in most cases, fields of study. May you take the knowledge, the friendships, and the experiences you've gained as a Case Western Reserve University student and use them to do good for yourself, for others, and for the world. I wish all of you continued and wonderful success. Again, congratulations, and we look forward to celebrating with you in the coming days.
Honored guests, this concludes our ceremony. Please remain at your seats, standing until the academic procession exits onto Veal Center. All are welcome to join us for a reception on Van Horn Field. Thank you, and enjoy your commencement activities.